Now, I hope you enjoyed that intro, and I welcome you to the full history of 2b2tpe. Now, please do bear in mind that all the info I have on 2019 and late 2018 is all from other people and other sources, simply because I didn't play on that year, so if I get anything wrong, I do apologise. Anyway, let's get into it. So in December 2018, Master Luke created the server 2b2tpe. Now, the reason for this is so complicated, it deserves its own video, which will come out if I ever hit 500 subs. So yeah, maybe subscribe. Yeah. Now, according to a timeline on the server, which is the best source of reference during this era, only one notable thing happened during 2018, which was the destruction of the base known as Town Coast. Now, as the server only started in December, we are already in 2019. Now, this year has more information, however many things still weren't documented. Now, one of the biggest events that happened this year was the creation of the large bedrock roof over 00, which happened using a multitude of glitches. Another thing was that many groups that we still see today were created. In particular, the group Vespid were created during this year and are still very prevalent today. Another thing that happened was the base Unity 1 was covered in one of, at the time anyway, the biggest lava cast in the server's history. Now we move on to 2020. This is now where more server history was documented and was also the year I started playing, so I guess that's cool. Now, during the beginning of the year, there wasn't a lot going on compared to some events I'll discuss later. One important thing that did happen was that in June of 2020, a Spanish player, who will remain unnamed simply because I don't remember his name, used the TP exploit I covered in a previous video. This is how I found out about it, as it was used on me and a few others as well. Now, another thing that did also happen during this time was a group known as K33 had a bunch of their bases griefed in only a couple weeks. Now, this is a bit more documented on YouTube, so I'll put up some videos on the screen now. And yeah, they were basically just attacked for, I don't know, existing. I'm not 100% sure on exactly why, because I wasn't part of the group feud or whatever it was. Now to arguably the biggest event in the server's entire history. A video made by a Spanish creator went viral and caused the player count to go from about 20 players at peak hours, which was quite a lot in many cases. In many cases it was only reached about 10 or 15, to go to well over 100. Added to this, a video made by the highly popular YouTuber FitMC, which you probably saw in the intro of this video, was on another server known as 2b2tmcpe, and well, that server has its own entire history itself. Now, many of the players that wanted to join the server actually put the IP in wrong, putting just 2b2tpe, which is understandable. I mean, they're very similar, and also MCP and PE are basically the exact same thing in terms of the writing and what they mean. Now, these two events caused the older player base, myself included, to take action. Now, due to the size of the server more than quadrupling, there wasn't a set leader, and it was kind of confusing in many ways because there were a lot of different groups trying to take power during the time. However, the majority of the old player base did decide that an incursion or an incursion-like thing, which for those of you that don't know what an incursion is essentially where a group of players tries to eliminate new players or do something generally in the spawn region to stop new players from escaping and other things. It's a complicated topic in many ways. And what me and some of my friends on the server did was actually we created a base of operations called Original Base, which I'm sure some of you might have heard of. It was somewhat notable at that time. Now, other YouTubers that I was somewhat aware of were making videos sort of killing new players and stuff like that, and that was all highly respected at the time because the majority of the player base didn't really like the majority of the new player base, as they were unaware of a lot of the culture, especially from the big Spanish YouTuber I was talking about earlier. Now, the base I was part of and another base, which I cannot remember the name of at the moment, destroyed multiple bases together. Actually, we worked together and killed countless of new players. Now, after this essentially incursion, not much really happened over the rest of the year. Now, one thing that did happen during the year was that in October there was a Halloween event set up by, I believe, Well Down, or at least I know who was part of it. And then, yeah, there was just a group of us, myself included, where we came together and destroyed a haunted house build that it was organised. It wasn't like we griefed this person's base. It was built by one of the people organising it, and yeah, it was just good fun. Now, in terms of the YouTube side, a YouTuber known as LizardKing6699 started to grow quite a bit, which was the first time it really happened, with the exception of Josh TGS, who made videos back in the earlier days of 2019, and they did very well, but LizardKing6699 was the first, I guess, big YouTuber of 2020. I'm not really sure how to put it, but he was doing very well at the time, but he's kind of fallen off a bit, but that's a story for another day. Now, 2021 has been a much tamer year in terms of the server. There hasn't been any big incursion, and there has, I guess, been a couple big YouTubers, or somewhat big YouTubers, making videos on it, but none of them really went as viral as the two I discussed earlier. Now, some well-known bases were griefed, including this one, which I actually found myself while I was base hunting, which you should be seeing on your screen now, which I didn't grief, obviously. I didn't really want it to, but it was griefed in the summer of 2020. Now, one thing on the social media / content creator side of it was that Weldan was the first ever YouTuber dedicated to 2b2tpe, or I guess the majority of his videos were on the server, to hit 1,000 subscribers. Now, another YouTuber known as Landgame also hit 1,000 subs a couple days after him. Now, Landgame is also present on Bilibili, which I think is a Chinese or Japanese, I'm not 100% sure, YouTube equivalent. If I could be wrong on that, but I'm not super aware of it, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that is also a thing. Now, for such a massive year in 2020, the 2021 had been kind of a lackluster year for the server, and while it's great to play on, no major events such as incursions have happened, which in many ways improved the server experience. Now, for the part I presume a lot of you are here for, let's get on with the coordrop. Guys, so as a thanks for 100 subs, obviously I'm going to be doing a coordrop. So as you can see, there's just some shulkers in here, and I think there's just some sort of damage potions. I think there's a bit of TNT up here. So yeah, so just thanks for 100 subs, and yeah, here are the coords. It's actually the coords of my first ever base, which you'll see griefed up there. And yeah, enjoy the kits, and thank you for watching as well.
I ain't showing desperation to the guards of the gates. I ain't chasing inspiration, I just following fate.